Hey guys, Santa Claus here with another set of NFL predictions. This time it's week 16. It is way past 8:15, but the Broncos and Chargers game probably already started. But it's not too late to put in my pick. So the Denver Broncos take on the Los Angeles Chargers. I am going with the Broncos. This matchup is for playoff seeding. I believe if the Broncos win, they clinch a playoff spot. And if the Chargers win, I think they also clinch a playoff spot. They would move up in the seeding. But I am going with the Broncos. They'll be 10-5, and the Chargers will be 8-7. Saturday, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I am going with the Chiefs for this matchup. The Texans clinched the AFC South. They will be in the playoffs. But I believe the Chiefs will win this matchup and clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC. And as for the Texans, they will be 9-6. The Chiefs will be 14-1. So their best season in quite a while. 13 wins. And I was at the Browns game. I still have to make that video. I don't know why I'm being lazy about it, but I've been busy. That's what it is. I've been busy. But I'm going with the Chiefs over the Texans. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Baltimore Ravens. I am actually going with the Steelers. This matchup is for the division. The AFC North. If the Steelers win, they clinch the AFC North. They've already clinched a playoff berth, but they will clinch home field advantage in the playoffs. And as for the Ravens, I think they'll make the playoffs, but they're 9-5, so it's entirely possible they don't make it. But as for the Steelers, this puts them at 11-4, and the Ravens 9-6. So I have no idea what the score of the game is. I think it's 0-0 because it just started. Excuse me. The New York Giants take on the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going with the Falcons. Of course, this is against one of the worst offenses in football. They're 2-12. This is a typical New York Giants season. And as for the... Sorry, I have to get a Tom's. My esophagus is being stupid. Anyways, I'm going with the Falcons. They just benched Kirk Cousins. He looks awful. And they're putting in Michael Penix. Wait, that's not his name? Oh, Penix. His name is Michael Penix. Got it. Anyways, they're starting Michael Penix Jr., the rookie, against the Giants, and I think he'll have a well enough day. I mean, he's their only left-handed QB. As for the Giants, this puts them one step closer to the number 1 pick. Either they can get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or Travis Hunter, depending on what they want. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. This puts them at 8-7, and the Giants 2-13. One step closer to that number one pick. Also, that Chiefs-Browns game was something. It was really something. Like, I enjoyed myself. There were other Chiefs fans around me, too, so it was like, I felt at home, you know? Home away from home, I get it. Next, we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. I am going with the Detroit Lions. Although they had a skid in the last time these two teams met was Week 13 on Thanksgiving, and Matt Eberflus lost his mind with not calling that timeout, the one they had left. But I'm still going with the Detroit Lions. The Lions will be sweeping the Bears this season. They will be 13-2, and I believe they're currently atop the AFC. So we'll have to see what happens. But the Chicago Bears will be 4-11, and they will be losing their 9th straight game. They have an 8-game losing streak at the moment. So, the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. I'm picking Detroit. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Carolina Panthers. I'm going with the Cardinals. Although the Cardinals aren't really that good this year. They're 7-7. They snapped their losing streak. I forget who they played last week, but I believe I picked them. But I am going with the Arizona Cardinals. They will be 8-7. The Carolina Panthers will be 3-12. So they will probably land a top 5 pick with 12 losses with the 3-win season. And I don't think that's Dave Canales' fault. The Panthers just don't have any talent. It's not on the head coach. I mean, they did have to fire Frank Reich. I mean, he was just awful. But Dave Canales has a good group. Dave Canales is a good coach. I'm not disputing that. What's holding the Panthers back from success is the talent they have on their roster. They don't have any. Bryce Young, he's washed. He's terrible. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's still developing. But yeah, they just don't have much talent, especially on the offensive line. They haven't fixed their offensive line in years. That's why they have had losing season after losing season ever since Cam Newton won MVP. It's just the curse. Anyways, I am going with the Cardinals over the Carolina Panthers. The Los Angeles Rams take on the New York Jets. I am going to go with the Rams. This puts them at 9-6 and in the driver's seat for the NFC West title. The NFC West is just god-awful this year. Same with the NFC South. Both of those, like I said, both of those divisions are just bad. There's no clear-cut winner. There's really... It was the Seahawks at one point. The Cardinals led the division. Then the Seahawks won the division. Led the division. And then they pissed it away. Gave it to the Rams. Just by losing that one game against Green Bay. Anyways, I'm going with the Rams over the Jets. I know they had a good win over Jacksonville, but it's Jacksonville. The Jets are not good. They're 4-10. They look sloppy. Aaron Rodgers looks awful. Just everything about the Jets right now is just bad. They're 4-10. So, sorry if you hear that wind coming into my microphone. It is the fan going in my room. But I'm going to go with the Rams over the Jets. And that puts them at 9-6, and the Jets 4-11. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Washington Commanders. I am actually going with Philly. I know the Commanders are good. They're 9-5. They will probably be the number 7 seed in the NFC. But as for the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, I think they're clinching the division this week. If they win, they clinch, which, that's pretty straightforward. There's 3 weeks left of the season. There's 3 divisions clinched. 7 teams already clinched playoff spots, including the Eagles and the Lions. The Commanders could probably clinch in Week 18, if that's plausible. But if the Commanders pull up the upset at home against Philadelphia, I think their chances of winning the division will be much more slim. Actually, less slim is what I'm trying to say. What I meant. But the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm gonna take them with the win, 13-2. The Commanders 9-6. The Commanders will in fact have a winning season since they have 9 wins. But the Eagles will probably clinch the NFC East. Barring a collapse, of course. Not like last year. But we'll see. I'm picking the Eagles. The Cleveland Browns take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I am going to go with the Bengals. It's at home. Although the Bengals have a 2-game win streak at the moment. They're 6-8. And as for the Cleveland Browns, yeah. Jameis Winston is not the answer. He was never the answer. He just throws interceptions. So that's why you bench him. And yes, I was at the game. Just like I said before, I was at the Browns game last week. That was a blast. That was a blast. I had a great time. But it's in Cincinnati, and yeah, I'm gonna pick the Bengals over the Browns. This puts them at 7-8, and the Browns 3-12. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Tennessee Titans take on the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going with the Colts for this one. They're currently 6-8, I believe. Yeah, they're 6-8 because they had the bye week and then they lost to the Broncos. And what a game that was! That was trash. That was just, the way they lost was just so trash. Adonai Mitchell had a pick six. A wide receiver throwing a pick six to a linebacker. Do you not see the concern here? The Colts are bad. The Titans are even worse. I believe the Titans are 3-11. Yeah, they are. But, or are they 4-10? I have no idea. They're 3-11. So, I am going with the Indianapolis Colts. This puts them at 7-8, and the Titans 3-12. Their season just keeps getting much, much worse, and they'll probably land a top 10 pick. They probably already landed a top 10 pick, but anyways, I'm going with the Colts. The Minnesota Vikings take on this. All right, so we're getting the 4 o'clock slate here. So there are 4 games in the 4 o'clock. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Vikings. They're knocking on the doorstep of the Lions for the division. I think week 18's final game will be the Vikings taking on the Lions. Because that game, if the Lions and Vikings keep winning the way they are, that will be whoever wins that game wins the division. So I believe that will be the last one. But we'll have to see. I believe that'll be game 272. But we will see after week 17. So the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Seahawks. I'm going Minnesota. This puts them at 13-2. The Seahawks 8-7, and puts the Rams one step closer for the division lead. I don't think they clinched the division, only because it's either going to be the Rams or the Seahawks. But most likely it'll be the Rams. Anyways, I'm going with the Vikings. They've already clinched a playoff berth. They are 12-2. They will be 13-2. And the Seahawks will be 8-7. The New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. I'm actually going with Buffalo for this matchup. Pretty obvious pick, too. Yeah. Josh Allen's going to have himself a 40-point day. And the Patriots are bad. They're 3-11. Or are they 4-10? I think they're 3-11. But yeah, I'm going with the Bills. This puts them at 12-3. And the Patriots, this puts them at 3-12. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going with Jacksonville. I mean, one of these games, this game right here basically symbolizes how bad the NFL has been. Jaguars and Raiders. Who would have thought this would be a tank bowl? Jaguars are 3-11, and the Raiders are 2-12. Heading in the wrong direction. Antonio Pierce is probably fired after the year. And they draft their franchise QB in Shedeur Sanders. I think the Raiders clinched the number 1 pick with this win. But with this loss, I should say, I think they need to keep tanking. So that's why I'm picking Jacksonville. This puts them at 4-11. And as for the Raiders, this puts them at 2-13. So, again, one step closer to that number 1 pick. So, Anyways, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. The Broncos and Chargers are tied at 7, by the way. I just need clarification on something. Okay. I am back. The San Francisco 49ers taking on the Miami Dolphins. I am actually going with the 49ers. They have a 53% chance of winning. No, they don't have a 53% of people picked them. And as for the Dolphins, yeah, their season is just over. Both of these teams' seasons are over. But I believe the 49ers can win this one. Although they're missing all their running backs, I don't know what's going on with that. They just keep getting injured. CMC, Elijah Mitchell's out. Jordan Mason's out. Isaac Guerendo could be out. You know, you sign like Leonard Fournette. Just an obscure name. But I am going with San Francisco over Miami. This puts the Niners at 7-8, the Dolphins 6-9, probably not making the playoffs. The Dolphins are still in the hunt for some reason. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Dallas Cowboys. And I am going with the Buccaneers. They have played well. They are currently 8-6. They beat the Los Angeles Chargers. And I think they can beat the Cowboys on primetime. Baker Mayfield's going to have himself a day. And the Cowboys' defense is going to fall flat on its face, etc., etc., etc. Bucs win 9-6. Cowboys 6-9. No playoffs for Dallas. And last but not least, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Green Bay Packers. Both of these teams are in completely opposite fields. The last time, I don't remember the last time the Packers played the Saints. I think it was last year. The time before that, Saints put up a 30 bomb on them. I don't think that's the case here. They don't have an offense. They don't have a quarterback. They're probably going to bank for one in the draft. They're probably going to cut Derek Carr. That's just my prediction. But I'm going with the Green Bay Packers over the New Orleans Saints. This puts them at 11-4, and I think they win and they clinch a playoff spot. And the Saints will be 5-10 and possibly eliminated from the playoffs. So anyways, I'm sorry I got this out super late. I have been busy all day. Thursdays has been really rough. So Anyways, so next week we will not be releasing our prediction video on Thursday. We will be releasing it on Christmas Day, Wednesday, December 25th. So we'll see you guys then.